Hey guys, there's 5 personal financial questions that you need to know the answer to. All right, let's jump right into it. Number 1, what are my personal financial goals? You have to have the answer to exactly what you want, right? One of the most difficult questions for everybody to answer is simply, what do you actually want? What do you actually want to achieve? What are your goals? Maybe your 6-month goal, your 1-year goal, your 5-year goal, your 15 or 20-year goals. You have to be able to answer that question. It sounds very simple, but it's a very difficult question for a lot of people to answer that, guys. Where do you want to be in the next 6 months, in the next 10 years? Write those goals down. You should be able to answer that question in 3 or 4 sentences, guys. Exactly what you want, where you want to be, when you want to be there. All right? Specific goals. Make sure they're very specific and they're attached to time. 6 months, a year, again, 5 or 10 or 15 years. You figure out that goals, but that's a question that you've got to be able to answer. Number 2, do I have enough money in my emergency funds to cover an emergency or to cover 3 to 6 months of living expenses, or maybe to cover 12 months of living expenses? You have to be able to answer that question. Do I have enough in my emergency money to make sure I cover if I blow out 2 tires, or if the washer and dryer goes down, or if something major happens where I lose my job and I have to pay rent for 3 or 4 months? Do I have enough money in my emergency funds to cover that? Now remember, your emergency funds, guys, you're not trying to grow that money and put it in the highest interest rate. You could put it in a high yield savings account if you want, but you don't have to do that. That money is strictly there for emergencies that you have to be able to get to very, very fast, very quickly, immediately, overnight, right now. You got to be able to call up and get $2,000, $5,000, whatever it takes. You have to be able to figure out, do you have enough money in that emergency fund in case you have an emergency? And you know what your emergencies are. You know if you're facing a possible $2,000 emergency, or if you regularly or have seen or have experienced $10,000 emergencies. That's what you got to figure out, and that's what you need to make sure you have the answer to. Number 3, what is my net worth? You have to be able to say right now, off the top of your head, what am I worth in terms of financially? Net worth is assets minus liabilities. And for some of us guys, for me at least, when I was 30 years old, I had a negative $30,000 net worth to my name. So whatever your net worth is, you need to calculate it. Don't feel ashamed about it. Don't be mad about it. Don't push it to the side or push it under the rug because you just don't want to face it. Face it and figure out exactly what it is, guys. Because when you start to focus on something, it begins to grow. When you start focusing on increasing your asset side, lowering your liability side, no more investing on things that are going down in value, only trying to focus on investing in things that are going up in value. When you start to focus on your net worth, it will grow in the right direction. So at least twice a year, figure out what is your net worth and know that number. That's a number that you ought to be able to have right off the top of your head immediately. My net worth is whatever, right? 20,000, 50,000, 200,000, 2 million. Know the numbers, right? Your net worth is about your discipline, and it's about your consistency, and it's about your intention. Be intentional with it, and it's going to grow. And since we're on net worth for number 3, let's talk about debt real quick. You have to know, what are your debts? What type of debts do you have? Know what your debts are. Now, if you want to reduce your debts, you can use the avalanche method. You can use the snowball method. I like the snowball method. That's what I used for many years. Guys, you need to be able to know what you owe, how much you owe. Again, if you focus on what you owe, then you can reduce it. If you skirt around what you owe and close a blind eye to it and shove it under the rug and don't think about it, don't want to look at it, don't want to face it, guess what? It's never going to go away. Your debt does not just disappear automatically out of thin air, right? Most people's debt, unless we're talking about people that got some student loans wiped out, right? Most people's debt is just going to sit there and grow because of interest, right? So you have to attack it. You got to look at it. You got to face it. You should know how much you owe. How much is your debt total? That's a figure you ought to have in your mind right now. Now, number 4, the 4th thing you should know is, am I generating a budget surplus every single month, and how much is that surplus? In other words, know what your expenses are every month, know what your income is every month, and figure out what the difference is. How much extra budget surplus do I have to spend on other things, on debt, on emergency money, on whatever it may be, savings, whatever it may be, right? Some people track this with the precision of a NASA engineer, right? Some people could care less and never write anything down. You need to be in the habit of writing this down, doing a budget so that you can figure out what do you have every single month left over at the end of the month. That's a figure that you ought to know or have a really close idea about on a regular basis. Now, number 5 is this. Number 5 is, are you getting the most out of the low-hanging fruit that you currently have, which is the income from your job? Are you getting the most out of your job? In other words, are you contributing to the 401k at your job? Do you even know if your job has a 401k? Do you know if your job matches a portion of that 401k? And what is that percentage that they match, right? Does your job have the option for you to actually invest in some Roth in that 401k? Now, you also need to know, hey, what is that job investing my money that I put into the 401k? What are they investing that in? What are my investment options at my job? You need to go into HR or call HR or pull up HR online, and you need to figure out what is going on with the possibilities of the income that I get from my job every single time I get paid. This is called low-hanging fruit. One of the most important things to build your wealth is taking advantage of the income that you get every single week or 2 weeks from a paycheck from a job. So you need to be making sure you're getting the most out of that right now, right? Are you actually maxing out the 401k, right? Do you understand what to do with that 401k money if you leave or separate from that job? Are you going to roll it over to a new job, or are you going to transfer it to a new job? And what do those terms mean? Have you discussed this with HR? You need to be taking advantage of, or at least learning the types of possibilities of things you can do with the money you receive from your job, right? That's super important, and it's a piece that a lot of people forget about, and they just leave out of this whole money equation. They just think, I want to make more money, make more money. No, are you taking good care of the money that you currently have? Are you taking full advantage of the opportunities that your job is offering to you right now? Low-hanging fruit. So guys, on this video, I wanted to give you 5 personal financial questions that you should be able to answer at any given time. Hey guys, do me a favor, smash the like button and drop me a comment. Is there another question that a person should be able to answer immediately about their personal finances? Drop that comment below, guys. And check out a few of these videos right here where we dive in deeper into personal finances and money management. Hey guys, the best person to take care of the old you is the young you. Do me a favor, take care of yourself, but always take care of other people. Until the next video, peace.